In this video, I'll show you how to beat every world event in Sea of Thieves. World events are high-risk, high-reward battles open to the whole server. You'll see which world event is active by looking up in the sky to see a glowing cloud. World events drop large amounts of valuable loot, but it's risky because the whole server may fight you for it. Remember that world events also scale in difficulty to your crew size. Now let me tell you how to beat each one. First is Ashen wins. You'll notice this world event by the red tornado in the sky. This event is a boss fight with one of the 4 Ashen Lords. You may fight Red Ruth, Old Horatio, Warden Chi, or Captain Grimm. They have many special attacks. This includes breathing fire, summoning skeletons, throwing fireballs, jump attacks, and the dangerous ground pound. At the end of the fight, the Ashen Lord will summon lava rock to fall from the sky and will boil the water around the island. Make sure your ship isn't parked too close to the boss or it will sink. The Ashen Lord has 3 lives. In between each life, this boss will fall to the ground defenseless, and you must quickly go land hits on him. The best way to beat this boss is with a sword or by sitting back and sniping at him. An important tip is to keep moving at all times. If you stand still, this boss will kill you very quickly. After defeating the boss, he will drop an Ashen Wind Skull. This can be sold to the Order of Souls, or you can use it for PvP. It works like a flamethrower. It doesn't deal a lot of damage, but it does light a ship on fire pretty quickly. Next is the Skeleton Fort. You'll recognize it by the skull cloud with thundering green eyes. Skeletons in the guard towers will begin shooting at you as you approach the fort, but you'll need to sail your ship straight into the cannon fire and get as close to the island as possible. Think of this like the Normandy invasion. Once you get close enough to shore, you should be in the blind spot of their cannons. Next, you'll complete 12 waves of skeletons. The skeletons that will kill you the most are definitely the ones carrying lit powder kegs. You'll also face golden skeletons that are immune to sword damage, and plant skeletons that heal from the water, and also shadow skeletons which are invincible in the dark. At nighttime, you'll need to raise a lantern near these skeletons to make them vulnerable. The best way to deal with most skeletons is to sword dash. This should one-tap them. However, you'll need a gun to deal with gold skeletons and the ones carrying powder kegs. You'll find several ammo chests around the fort. There's always one on the bottom floor of the fort, one on the second floor, and at least 2 around the outside. Skeletons will also drop you ammo pouches to pick up. After beating the 12 waves, you'll face your first boss fight against 2 Ashen captains. Finally, you will reach the final boss fight round against the Skeleton Lord. You might face the Duchess, the Mutinous Helmsman, or the Two-Faced Scoundrel. They have several special attacks, including a powerful ground pound and the ability to summon more skeletons. Once you defeat the boss, he will drop the vault key. Use this to unlock the treasure vault under the fort, but an important tip is to always check if an enemy is pulling up on you before you unlock the treasure vault. You can always sail away with the key and come back later if you need to. Actually, a pro tip for every world event is that you should always be checking the horizon for enemy ships sailing towards you. No one should be catching you off guard. The worst is if a ship catches you off guard while you're fighting the boss. Now let's talk about the Ghost Fleet. You'll notice this world event by the large green tornado in the sky. You'll see tons of hostile ghost ships circling the tornado. You'll have to defeat 4 waves of them to win. These ships will fire special ghostly cannonballs at you. This includes phantom cannonballs, flame phantom cannonballs, and the screaming wraith ball, which is the most deadly because it can open up 4 holes with a single hit. Keep your eyes peeled during the fight because some of the ships you beat will drop supply crates for you. The final boss ship is the Burning Blade. After beating the boss, he will drop special ghostly loot and the Cannonball Crate of the Damned, which contains ghostly cannonballs for you to use in PvP. Next is the Fort of Fortune. This is like the Skeleton Fort, but it's way more valuable and challenging. You'll notice this event by the glowing red skull cloud. Like the last world event, you'll need to clear many waves of skeletons, but you'll notice there's way more keg skeletons and golden skeletons in this event. Here's some tips for dealing with gold skeletons. Did you know you can dump water on them to make them rust and weaken? Firebombs are also super effective against them. However, the fastest way to clear gold skeleton waves is to use powder kegs. The final boss fight will be against one of the Ashen Lords. This is a dangerous boss that can breathe fire, cover the island in smoke, and even cast down volcanic rock. The boss will drop a key you can use to unlock the vault in the fort basement. You can find really good loot in this world event, but prepare to be attacked while you do it. Next is the Skeleton Fleet. You'll notice this world event by the ship cloud with green thunder in the sky. This event will always spawn in the center of the map, and you activate it by sailing inside the boundaries of the fleet. You will fight 3 waves of multiple ships at once. When fighting the sloops, you should focus your fire on the skeleton on cannon. This way he can't shoot back at you and he'll sink very fast. A tip for dealing with the galleons is to remember that skeletons cannot bail water. They can only patch holes. This means you can actually board the skeleton ships, and then you can stop them from repairing so they sink faster. It's also important to remember that you need to fire at the lower deck of a galleon to fill it with water. This fleet can be deadly, and it's easy to get overwhelmed by cannon fire, especially because these ships will also fire cursed cannonballs at you. My advice is to play it safe. You can always sail out of the world event boundary if you need to repair your ship, and then just sail back inside to finish the fight after you're under control. Don't stay in combat if your ship damage is getting out of control. Each skeleton ship you defeat will drop a little loot for you, but the final ship will drop the big stack of loot. There's also a version of the skeleton fleet called the Fleet of Fortune. You'll notice it by the red ship cloud, the Fort of the Damned. This is the most valuable world event right now and the most highly contested. You'll notice this event by a skull with flashing red eyes. The Fort of the Damned is a world event that can be player activated. You'll need a ritual skull to start it. You'll also need to die 6 different ways to collect the different colored flames from the Fairy of the Damned. Once activated, you'll clear 14 waves of skeletons. Weaken each color of skeletons by exposing them to one of your different colored flames. The Ghost of Grey Marrow is the final boss. Once you beat the boss, he'll drop a key to unlock the treasure vault. You'll find rare loot inside and lots of explosive kegs. It's common for players to save up on ritual skulls so they can stack this fort many times before finally selling. You'll also commonly see alliances of many crews doing this fort together. This is by far the riskiest world event to do, but the loot is worth the risk. The last world event is the Kraken. In between world events, the Kraken will pick one ship on the server to attack. You'll need to shoot down enough tentacles to make the Kraken retreat before it can sink your ship. You'll be hit with 3 different attacks, including a tentacle slap, the vacuum cleaner, and the chokehold. Use your cannons to take down each tentacle one by one. Finally, I want to talk about sea forts. These are not a world event, but they function similarly to a skeleton fort. There are 6 of these sea forts on the map, and they are occupied by hostile phantoms. You'll need to take down several waves of phantoms before finally reaching the boss wave. This boss will drop you a key which unlocks the treasure vault in the basement. If you search the fort, you can also find a key to the treasure vault on the top floor. Sea forts are a quick, easy, and fun way to get loot. And that's every world event in Sea of Thieves. World events have always been the most fun part of this game. It's the perfect bridge between PvE and PvP. You can make money and have an epic battle with the whole server. You can scheme up a plan, you can pull off sneaky steals, and you can make or break an alliance. World events are Sea of Thieves at its absolute best. If you liked this video, please subscribe to me. I'm posting a new Sea of Thieves guide every single day. Thanks for watching.